At its best, hip hop talks about what's going on. It takes what's there internally and moves it out. It gives you a way to exhaust. Because people always talk to me about Rap City and the basement, because, my God, Tigger, phew, what he did for Rap City was amazing. I created it, but he took it to that next level. And it's funny. People have these memories of, coming home and watching Rap City in the basement and, just that whole thing. People look forward to that. And it was what they talked about the next day at school. But people always say, well, can we bring back Rap City in the basement? No, that's had its time. It's time for Rap City to go to the boardroom, to the White House. Hi, I'm Alvin Jones, and I'm a culture builder. What I feel about lyrics in hip hop today is many variations of it. I got different aspects of it. And the reason why is I know how music for years has been that uplifting, that cadence music. So I know a place, I'll take you there. Ain't nobody worrying, ain't no smiling faces. Things like keep on pushing, we're a winner. Ain't no stopping us now. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I want nobody to give me nothing. Open the door, I'll get it myself. Lyrics have always been that story. It's when those words can capture how you feel and you go, I didn't even think anybody understood how I felt. Matter of fact, I couldn't even articulate how I feel. And so when I first got into radio, that was what it was. It was about the lyrics. So here's what I look at. I look at the lyrics, and I also listen to the lyrics. And basically, listening to the lyrics makes me take a look at what's going on and what's coming out of people and where they are. And there are a lot of people in pain. And that's something that, for a long time, people didn't discuss their pain. I mean, we had the blues, we had sad songs. I did Quiet Storm under Melvin Lindsay, so I know about those songs that will break your heart. One of the things that we really have to look at is, can we still feel? You know what I mean? It's about that. Like Frankie Beverly says, joy and pain is like sunshine and rain. So what I hear in the lyrics, I hear the frustration, I hear the pain, I hear the anger. Whenever I see someone who's not in a good mood, there's something that's bothering them. There's something that's troubling them. And sometimes it's something that has been done to them that's not right, that they can't understand. So when I listen to the lyrics and I go, there's some negativity there, and I'm going, well, maybe this is how they really feel. And maybe this is where they are right now. Now, I really believe, not only the black community, but the whole world, we need some therapy. We need mental therapy. If you injure your arm, you break your arm, there's going to be physical therapy because there's a lot of things that are bothering us. And if we don't address it, if we don't come to terms with it, if we don't try to soothe it, it just causes problems. And that's what you find. There's a lot of people in pain. So I look at the lyrics and I go, okay, that is step one. That's saying to me, this is where we are right now. And I'm telling you this, and it may be dark, but this is where I am, and this is how I feel. And so the question is, how do we take that to that next level? Because we don't want to leave it right there. It's like, okay, now we see this. What is it that you want? What is it you're looking for? What are your aspirations? And one of the main things with folks is you got to let them know their wildest dreams and their imaginations are okay. And one of the things I've always said, especially in the black neighborhoods, growing up, I was always a nerd. And if you wanted to do something that was out of line of what everybody else did, oh, you can't do that because you're black. And we clamp down people's desires and dreams. And there's a lot of people who want to do things, but they don't because I don't know if it's going to be accepted. This ain't the job that I should have. And so we need to be able to open that up because we're at a critical point in mankind. And that point is people are searching for what's inside of them. And so covering it up with the clothes and the cars and going out to the clubs and all that stuff is really masking what's inside. And that's what we need to do. We need to make a change with humanity. So I say with hip hop, I hear you. So now let's have that dialogue. I'm not going to say, I don't like your lyrics. I'm going to say, tell me about your lyrics. How did you get to that point? What's your desire? What's your aspiration? Where are we going with this? Because if you think about it, hip hop has existed, whether you wanted to believe it or not. Temptations were doing hip hop. They talked about situation. Remember, the Temptations of the 60s was just the sound of this, Motown and this. And then they started dealing with stuff like, I'm doing fine on cloud nine, meaning you ain't got no responsibilities. That was that whole 60s going into the 70s where people were using psychedelic drugs. And it wasn't because I just want to do this. No, I want to escape. If you think about it now, they're talking about doing psychedelics and using psychedelic drugs for veterans who have post-traumatic stress syndrome. So if you think about it, LSD was created by the CIA, if you see what I'm saying. So even the Temptations, that was hip hop, Ball of Confusion. People moving out, people moving in. Why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. The only person talking about love, my brother, is the preacher, and it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, obligation to our nation is a ball of confusion. He said the sale of pills are at an all-time high. Young folks walking around with their heads in the sky. Cities aflame in the summertime, and the beat goes on. Appolution, revolution, gun control, sound of soul, shooting rockets to the moon, kids growing up too soon. Politicians say more taxes will solve anything, and the band plays on. And so those are the words. If you listen to a person tell you about what's going on in their life, this person could be sitting down on the couch in a therapy session. And the therapist says, well, tell me what's going on with you. And he goes, it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Don't push me. I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. What's going on in my family? Well, my brother's doing bad. He stole my mother's TV. In my neighborhood, people pissing on the streets, they don't care. And so at its best, hip hop talks about what's going on. It takes what's there internally and moves it out. It gives you a way to exhaust those fumes that are inside of you. I mean, think about it. What happens if you don't go to the bathroom? You get blocked. So that's stage one. Where we are, stage one. Because people always talk to me about Rap City in the basement, because, my God, Tigger, what he did for Rap City was amazing. I created it, but he took it to that next level. And it's funny. People have these memories of, coming home and watching Rap City in the basement and, just that whole thing. People look forward to that. And it was what they talked about the next day at school. But people always say, well, can we bring back Rap City in the basement? No, that's had its time. It's time for Rap City to go to the boardroom, to the White House, for Rap City to be in the House of Representatives, to be running foundations, to be doing things. Because if you think about it, the people who really grew up on hip hop, they're now in positions of power. They were also watching Living Single and what was all the other programs, Cosby and In Living Color. Those were those good times when you saw Kid and Play do House Party, and you saw Martin. So hip hop is ready to go to the next level. Think about it. Hip hop, according to where we are right now today, is, oh my goodness, hip hop is 51 years and a few days. Hip hop last year qualified for AARP. So what we're going to do is take hip hop to that next level. And it's not saying we're going to leave youth behind. No, we're going to bring you along with us, because that's what hip hop is. If you think about the blues, if you think about reggae, if you think about even country music, it was always about what goes on. There's a young lady that I work with. She's going to turn 81, Mary Cliff in D.C. And she has a show that was on our radio station, Tradition. So it was about folk. So she was talking and playing music from Richie Valens, Peter, Paul, and Mary, the staple singers. If you think about all of those, Joan Baez, all that music was talking about what was going on with people and their hopes and ambitions. So what I'd like to see hip hop do is now do a transformation. Let's talk about our desires, our wishes, and don't limit it. And don't make the desires about, Bentleys and Aston Martins. Don't get me wrong. I host a TV show on cars, so yeah, I drive Bentleys and Aston Martins. I get a chance, and they give them back to me, so I don't have to pay the note. But let's aspire for love. Aspire for peace. Let's aspire for being able to get along with each other. That's where hip hop can go. And, if you think about it, everything that is legitimate started off a little shaky. Think about now. We now have the cannabis industry. What's funny, there's some people who can't get jobs because they have a criminal record, which means they can't get a job selling weed because they sold weed. If that's not funny, nothing is. Or if you think about it, there were people who used to do the numbers. And because they went to jail, they couldn't get a job working at the lottery. You can't work for Maryland Lottery because you have a criminal record. So what we want to do is just take everything to that next level. I think it's time for us as human beings to be a little more human. We need a little more kindness. This world is difficult for people. It's very difficult for people. And I think it is now that time. And I think hip hop, because it's so well loved, it's so well embraced all over the world, it's now that time for hip hop to do that second thing of the healing, of the motivation, of it taking it to the next level. And so that's where I think hip hop is. It's on that cusp of doing that. And so me coming back, like I said, songs. I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within. Came back to let you know I got a thing for you and I can't let go. So hip hop, we're getting ready to take this. I saw what it was like when people didn't take hip hop seriously. I saw the potential. I saw that you just take some folks who believe like you and you create something that is amazing. And so now that I'm back, I've had a chance to step back and look at it. This is phase 2. This year I turned 65. So this is my second half of the life. My parents are 94. My dad's 94. My mom's going to turn 92. I had an aunt who lived to be 101, 7 months and 2 days. So longevity is a part of my DNA. So I'm like, well, my dad still does his own damn lawn and the neighbor's lawn. So that's part of who I am. So I'm now in that position. So let's take this to this next level. Like the song says, now that we found love, what are we going to do with it? People have been loving me about what I've done with hip hop. But then I go, I haven't done that much lately. So it's time for me to get back in there. It's that second half. And so that's where I am right now. Hey, I'm Alvin Jones. Welcome. You are experiencing 247hh.com.